Morning, Keely Johnson with ABC Hunter News. There's 6 total fire bans across New South Wales today with hot and windy conditions expected. There's also an extreme fire danger warning for the Hunter, Northwest and Northern Slopes regions. Fire crews are still working to contain a blaze burning near Scone, which has now burnt more than 1,100 hectares of land. Angela Burford from the Rural Fire Service says there's concerns for communities like Scone that have already been dealing with fires this week.
There are still some towns surrounding those fire grounds where we are very much on high alert, and we will see those winds become very challenging. There is certainly a chance that these fires could flare up, and with those winds we can see embers being pushed ahead of the fire front.
A Newcastle jury has been told a woman offered an alleged getaway driver some cleaning wipes for possible gunshot residue after he'd raised fears of being set up for a crime. Giselle Wakatama has the details.
Stephen Garland's pleaded not guilty to murder or to being an accessory to murder in relation to the shooting death of Stockton grandmother Stacey Klimovich. She died in 2021. Mr Garland stands accused of driving the accused shooter to and from the scene. Yesterday, a woman who can't be named said Mr Garland told her he didn't know anyone had been shot and killed. She said he went on to raise fears about gunshot residue possibly being in the car. He was worried it would be detected, so I gave him some wipes and told him to clean the car anyway after I did some Googling, she said. The trial continues.
A Lake Macquarie mental health nurse has had her registration cancelled for professional misconduct. Romy Stevens has more.
The Healthcare Complaints Commission took action against Vicky Louise Wilton in the Civil and Administrative Tribunal. The Commission alleged Miss Wilton failed to observe professional boundaries when she formed a close personal relationship with a patient. It also alleged she provided poor clinical care. From October 2018 to September 2020, she worked as a registered nurse at the Lakeside Clinic Warners Bay Hospital, a private mental health facility. It's there where she met the patient, a woman in her 30s with complex problems. The tribunal found there were boundary violations and professional misconduct, cancelling her registration for 6 months.
The corporate regulator says 3 Lake Macquarie companies that allegedly operated while insolvent ran up debts worth $1.6 million. The Australian Securities and Investments Commission has disqualified Anthony Murray and his son, Danny Luke Murray, of Martinsville from managing corporations for 4 years. ASIC found Anthony Murray was a director of 2 failed companies, while his son was a director of a 3rd failed company. The regulator was concerned assets were transferred as the companies struggled to stay afloat. Researchers believe a drug trial in Newcastle could revolutionise dementia research. Overseas studies have shown lecanemab can slow cognitive decline by Alzheimer's disease by 25%. Professor Michael Breakspear from the Hunter Medical Research Institute says it's the only trial underway in regional Australia. He says it will aim to determine whether the drug can also prevent the buildup of amyloid protein, which is a leading cause of the disease.
What we're doing for the first time here with these trials is targeting people who are yet to develop Alzheimer's, but with low levels of amyloid, and looking to prevent future occurrence of Alzheimer's disease.
Police are appealing for public assistance to locate a man missing from the Hunter region. 61-year-old Roy Quinton was last seen at a home on Stanford Street, Pelham, near Curry Curry, at about 7:40am yesterday. Roy is described as being of Caucasian appearance, about 180 centimetres tall, of medium build with short light grey hair. He was last seen wearing a long-sleeved white polo shirt and faded blue jeans. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. And briefly to sport, Australian tennis player Alexei Popyrin is out of the Vienna Open after a first-round loss to world number 5 Andrei Rublev. The Russian 2020 champion won 7-6, 6-4 in Vienna to move into the second round. If Rublev wins his next match against Italy's Matteo Arnaldi, he'll be assured a place at the end-of-season ATP finals. Mostly sunny morning across the Hunter, a light chance of a shower this afternoon. There's also the chance of a thunderstorm this evening. There's an extreme fire danger for the Greater Hunter, with top temperatures getting up to 35 degrees.
Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News update. Fears are growing for the welfare of a man from the Kurri Kurri area who's been missing now for more than 24 hours. 61-year-old Roy Quinton was last seen at about 7:40 yesterday morning at a home on Stamford Street at Pelham. Efforts to contact him have been unsuccessful, and police and family hold serious concerns for his welfare. Roy was last seen wearing a white polo shirt with the John Deere logo, faded blue jeans and work boots. We've posted Roy's photo on the 2NURFM Hunter News Facebook page. Firefighters are gearing up for another difficult day with a total fire ban now in force across the Greater Hunter. Extreme fire conditions have been forecast ahead of a cooler southerly change later today. A bushfire off Old Maitland Road at Cessnock, which broke out yesterday, is now under control. Crews have been kept busy attending to several small grass and bushfires overnight. Meanwhile, a fire which has burnt through around 1,000 hectares at Scone since Sunday is still being controlled. A police pursuit has ended with the arrests of two men at Wallsend. Several police vehicles began following a black car on Newcastle Road at about 7:15 this morning, with the chase ending at the intersection of Thomas and Metcalfe Streets, where the two males were taken into custody. Police are expected to release more details later this morning. The region's peak business body says employment figures for the Hunter back up claims women across Australia are being undervalued in the workforce. It comes after a new report this week revealed women's inability to fully participate in the workforce is costing the economy billions of dollars. Business Hunter CEO Bob Hawes says more needs to be done to entice female workers into the Hunter's energy, manufacturing and STEM sectors.
There's absolutely no doubt those sorts of mechanisms will facilitate greater participation by women. And, you know, in some of those industries, it might not make a lot of difference because, as I said, then we've got a bigger job to do on being able to market to the female workforce to know that they can join industries that they traditionally haven't done so.
Federal opposition leader Peter Dutton has visited Port Stephens for the second time in as many months as the fight to stop the Hunter offshore wind zone steps up. He was in Nelson Bay yesterday to again call on the government to reopen community consultation following public opposition to the project, which would see hundreds of turbines placed off the coast. Peter Dutton says fishing and tourism operators' concerns about the potential impacts on their livelihoods should be taken into account. The University of Newcastle's current Chancellor says while he believes the institution will be in good hands when he retires, the future won't be without its challenges. Paul Jeans will step down from the position at the end of the year, with former Australian High Commissioner to New Zealand Patricia Forsyth set to replace him. He says the new Chancellor's biggest challenge will be to boost enrolments for those from regional communities.
One of the challenges, I think, for the future is that whilst we have over 40% of 25 to 34-year-olds with higher education qualifications in the cities, that's not so in the region, and that situation exists both in the Hunter and the Central Coast.
2NURFM Sport.
Jets captain Brandon O'Neill will return for his side's Sunday clash against Melbourne Victory. He missed their season opener draw with Perth after copping a suspension during their Australia Cup defeat in August. Coach Rob Stanton says it's still unknown whether O'Neill will start on the bench or on the field, but says he'll be there no matter what. Former Knights halfback Adam Clune will join English Super League club Huddersfield, becoming the latest ex-Novocastrian to defect to England. The 28-year-old finished a 2-year stint with Newcastle this year and is understood to have signed a multi-year deal with the Giants. He's one of 4 departing players to join the English Super League, alongside Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Lachlan Miller and Farmanu Brown. And Toronto golfer Jake Riley is a late addition to the Australian side for this week's Asia Pacific Amateur, where he'll join fellow Novocastrian Jai Picken. That's sport. I'm Bella Middleton.
And the winning numbers in Oz Lotto are 3, 5, 25, 30, 39, 40 and 47. And the supplementaries are 19, 33 and 44. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.
Castrol knows every part of a hybrid engine. That's why Castrol have established High-Spec, Castrol's new hybrid performance standard. Discover more at castrol.com.au.
A Listnr production.
Hello, Hamish Finlay with you. Well, no question, Paul McCartney has still got it. The Beatles icon wowing fans at McDonald Jones Stadium for an epic 3-hour set overnight, building out nearly 40 songs, 7 of which were in the encore alone. And while there were a few of his newer releases, it was the classics that had the crowd dutifully singing along. And thankfully, Sir Paul did visit the Mitch Revs mural painted in his honour on Hunter Street and may have gone up in value too. He added his initials and a smiley face. Well, fresh warnings today for us to be on high alert with a day of extreme fire danger with a total fire ban in place. The Cessnock blaze that flared into a Watch and Act yesterday is currently under control and at an advice level. While crews are still trying to bring that large fire near Scone under control, it's burned through over 1,140 hectares. Police say they hold serious concerns for a 61-year-old man who disappeared from around Curry yesterday. Roy Quinton was last seen at Stanford Street at Pillor, Main yesterday morning and hasn't been heard from since. Roy is around 180 centimetres tall with short, light grey hair. He was last seen wearing a white polo shirt with John Deere logo, jeans and work boots. Give Crime Stoppers a bell if you know where he is. Well, the Port Stephens LGA expects to welcome 20,000 new locals over the next 2 decades, and it's prompted a refresh of its local housing strategy. Not an easy feat, Council acknowledging the lack of undeveloped land available, making it a challenge to add extra capacity. Director Stephen Pert says a local housing forum next month will hopefully offer some solutions.
As an LGA is quite constrained. We've got a lot of beautiful waterways, national parks, a lot of flood-prone land. There's not a lot of available land for, new 500 square metre housing developments across our LGA. So we are forced into a position where we've got to think a bit more creatively.
And Aussie students doing their end-of-year exams are being warned to carefully manage their caffeine intake. It comes after a crackdown uncovered energy drinks containing almost double the legal amount, equal to about 9 cans of Coke or 3 shots of coffee. Updating sport, Marnus Labuschagne could be the man to make way for the returning Travis Head in the Australian 11 for tonight's World Cup clash with the Netherlands. Head is expected to slot back at the top of the order, having recovered from a broken hand to partner with David Warner. Overnight, South Africa smashed Bangladesh by 149 runs.